Welcome back everyone. Quickly, let's start a new discussion on JavaScript beginners to the advanced level. Right now we'll be discussing about JavaScript syntax. The JavaScript syntax is the set of rules to follow on how to write your JavaScript programs. And the main thing is the set of rules JavaScript programs are constructed. So the set of rules you have to follow when writing your JavaScript program is the syntax. So that is the syntax for you. So let's follow the rules and see what we got. Right here we are having how to create variables. You can create a variable by using the var or let. And how to use variables, you can use variable by using the variable along with a fixed value, or by using the variable along with a variable. This one is all this one right here is an expression, so you can express it like this along with the variable. So you can follow this rule also. So let's continue. Let's see what will happen. Firstly, let's create a variable and see what we got in our JavaScript. So here I've already got something here. Purposely do this so that we don't take much time when writing codes. That's why I do this. So right now, let's say I want to display this hello, but I want it to be a variable. Instead of writing it like this, I want it to be a variable. So then inside our script right here, I can just write var and create var x or var test. You understand? Then I have var test and save it like this. Definitely we have declared a variable. When we reload, can you see nothing is happening to our document yet? Let's now say we want to call the variable. You can just come here and write test. When we write test right here, nothing is still going to happen. Can you see? We are seeing undefined variable. Definitely we have not defined the variable yet. So to define the variable, you have to give it a fixed value, which is literal. So now I'm going to say test. This is my own variable that I created early from this var. You understand? So I want to say test is equal to, maybe I want to give it number 20. Test is equal to 20. And I save my document and reload. Can you see the 20 display? But you will find so many errors in all these things. If you are a beginner, you don't know how all this works. Let me show you some of the errors you may encounter so that you don't get tired when writing JavaScript. First thing you have to note is that there are different ways to output JavaScript code. I told you earlier in our previous tutorial that you can use this inner HTML to output your code. And I'll say I want to use this inner HTML, but I use the one of inner HTML. TML is the low character here, and the H is only the one that is having high character there. So now say I change it to the one that is having all full character HTML in capital letter. Inner HTML in capital letter. Let's save our document and reload. You are going to see what will happen. Can you see when I reload? When I reload, it's telling me that undefined, and it's still showing the result. Definitely you should note that there is an error from here. So when you change this from small letter, from capital letter, you see we are having inner HTML. Only this H is going to be the one that is having capital letter, and now the rest is going to be small letter TML. When you give it TML, you are not going to see this undefined again. Can you see? Now our variable is working like it's supposed to work, that we are expecting. Because if we say undefined character, we have already defined the text. So definitely the error is not from here at all. Definitely the error is from this line. That's when I later realized that by changing the status of this, maybe from capital letter to small letter, from small letter to small letter to capital letter, you may have some error in some ways. So, and again, then I say we are not writing a variable. Then I say we are not writing a variable. You just give it a fixed value. Let's give it a fixed value like 23. I write 23 there. Let's reload our document. Can you see? Now we are having 23. But the funniest part is that when we write this, to HTML, capital letter. Let's reload. Can you see? We are still able to see the undefined word, the undefined error. So sometimes the undefined error, you have to confirm either from this inner item that you are using to output it, because without this you cannot use it along with HTML code. So to use this demo, because this demo is from here, is from the p tag right here. If you change this HTML tag to h1 now, this one h1, so if you change it, you are going to see it's going to, can you see, undefined. Can you see? So this is the first one that our code firstly detected, our HTML code firstly detected. That's why it's saying undefined. So definitely you have to use what, the small letter right here. If not, you have to be confused. Always, one thing, the point right here is that you should always confirm what is going on inside the place you are trying to output something. That's where the problem used to occur most time. You find it as a beginner, you don't have to stress much when you are writing something. That's why I do my things this way, as you can see. And if you notice very well, the ID is under this demo. And the funnest part, let's change this to p. Let's see the difference. When I change the tag to p, let's reload. Can you see? The p cell is not doing like p. The h1 tag is not even doing like h1 tag. Can you see? What is different? This is p tag now. Let's see h1 tag. Let's write h1 tag. H1 tag is 23. I'm giving it 23, so you guys can see the difference. Can you see? This is HTML h1 tag, and this is JavaScript p tag. Now let's call it with h1 tag again. Let's give it h1 tag. h1 tag. h1 tag. Let's reload. We are going to see what will happen. Can you see? Instead of it to become h1 tag, is not even displaying like h1 tag. So this kind of error you can fix it with CSS or the other way. When we get to the advanced level, I'm going to show you. You can find this kind of error separately. So you have to note that some of the error you may find when you are writing it, you shouldn't be confused. When you get that, you can just restyle it with CSS or other way that I'm going to show you in the future tutorials. So let's say now this, I remove this first one right here. Definitely you should know that this one supposed to display, this JavaScript right here is supposed to display as bold like this, but it's never going to display as bold. Can you see? It's not displaying as bold as that. So you should note such error may occur anytime at any day. So this one, let me write hello. Can you see h1 tag right here? This one is the JavaScript h1 tag. So you guys will be aware of that, because it's very, very important to note that. As you can see, we write our literal right here. So the variable we are talking about, the syntax variable is this. So let me carry this syntax right here and put it inside here. You don't need double quote, you understand, because we are calling a variable. When we reload, can you see we are having 20? So the 20 that we write inside here. So let's say I want to write the text. Maybe I want to add welcome to JavaScript in details. Can you see when I reload welcome to JavaScript in details, that I wrote inside this variable? That is the benefit of using variable. And we can use either var, we can use let also. When we use let and reload our document, can you see the same thing occurs? We are having our thing clearly. And we can also use const. This const can have issue right here, because there are some things we have to talk about it. So I don't want to use it right now, because if I use it, you may find it somehow. So I don't want to use it right now. So let me just leave it for now. So I will show you when we get to the const level. I'm going to show you how we can use that. So as you can see, not to confuse you guys, I use the var, I use the let, so and so on. So let's, the error you may find, I've shown you, I show you guys there. So I want to see what I can cover again before time runs out, because this tutorial I don't want it to get too long. That's one thing I'm trying to be careful of. I don't want it to be too long. Please, a moment, please. Give me a moment. Let me find something I can talk about easily. So, not to waste your time here, let's firstly note that this can give you error. So, and again, the way we are going to be writing this, because I'm going to shift this to another tutorial again, because this is going to be two syntax level, syntax video I'm going to do. This one is going to be the first one, and the second one I'm going to reset this code to another way we are going to be writing our JavaScript from now on. So all this one, I don't want it again. All this one, I don't want it again. We are already in HTML. We are already using this script tag. You understand? So I want to display my JavaScript code like this. I don't want to write anything like HTML body tag or whatsoever. So this is how we are going to be writing our code again from now on. So let me save it so you guys can see. When I reload, can you see I remove the HTML so that it should not disturb us when learning JavaScript. Can you see? Welcome to JavaScript in details. As you can see, these are all only JavaScript codes you are seeing right here. So for us to understand JavaScript very well, so right here now you cannot use document or get element by ID again, because when you do get element by ID, you understand? Sorry. Let's reload. Can you see? You cannot use it right here, because if you have to use get element by ID, you have to use HTML code like this. Maybe you will say h1 tag, you can just give it ID. Understand? After giving an ID, you can give it an ID of test. Don't let it give it X, ID of X. And now say I can remove this one from here, give this one X, yeah, because we are calling X. And now say dot inner HTML, and I say inner HTML is equal to, and just give it text. When I save it and reload, can you see it's not showing? When it's not showing, firstly check if this one is into capital letter or small letter. Change it to small letter and reload. Can you see it's not showing? Definitely we need to display it using another element. Let's try another element if it's going to help us. Let's use like a document. Let's use another function dot write. Write test. When I write test in this way and reload, can you see it's display for us? You understand? So it doesn't allow us to use it directly. But if it's let's say you know, I use this inner HTML and I use this output function also. So the two things I use it together just to display this text. I've discussed about this one previously. So, and again, the funnest part is that let's say we carry all this thing now, remove it, now create HTML document like this. Inside this HTML we have head section like this as user, understand? But I'm not using it. I just put it there. Let's say we have body. Inside this body we have our text. I paste our text there. Understand? When we save our document, let me just remove this section to make it look nice. Reload. Can you see the same thing we are able to see? So what is the errors of writing it when we know that this H1 is not going to work? Because that is the reason why I said we are going to be using script directly, straightforward, so that the H1 is not going to be disturbing us again. Later we can still do something with H1, but for now we can use it this way. And again, let's text. If we use the text now in this way, if it's going to work. Let's reload and come here again, change it to capital letter HTML and reload. Can you see it's still the same thing? It's not working if you don't. So not to be writing long code every time. That's why I said this is how we are going to be writing our JavaScript now, so that you guys could be able to understand JavaScript very well. So this is just an experiment I purposely did so that I can be able to show you guys everything you have to know about JavaScript. So as you can see, this is get element by ID. We don't need it. Document.write we want to use. So when I do it like this, document.write, this function, and reload. Can you see? So far that we are not able to use the inner.html, so far that we are not able to use this function, this inner html, the reason why I said we will be using, why we are not able to use only this inner HTML, like we say, let's say we do it like this, dot give it is equal to our value that we want to, maybe we want to give it test. You understand? So far we are not able to use this, then what's the essence of continuing working with HTML for now? We cannot, not to stress you guys, that's why I stopped, because I don't want to be writing, because by using this one and this one, everything together, because at the end of the day you still need to use something like this one to be able to call it. Imagine the code is getting longer, then we are still going to write document.html again, document.get element by ID. I'm purposely showing you this so you guys can be able to understand. Can you see how code now gets long? At the end of the day, no matter what, you now still need to write your h1 tag. When you write h1 tag now, and you write your ID, you give it ID. Let's give it rr, and I give it, let's just enclose it like this. Let's see, carry this ID here, come here, write ID is equal to rr, ID is equal to rr, and write it. Can you see the same thing? It's also the same thing. Can you see? It's also the same thing. So when we don't have this now, our code is not going to display. It's displaying, sorry. So our code is displaying when we don't have it, but it's always the same. Definitely we are not using the h1 tag at all, because the h1 tag is not performing like h1 tag we know, because h1 tag on a normal level, h1 tag should display something bold like that. Understand? Like all this text should be something bold. When we put it here now, we are going to see what will happen. It should be bold. It should be bold like this. This is what we want. We want it to be bold. So, but as when we are using JavaScript right here, we are using get element by ID along with all these functions and all that, and we are not able to see the boldness at once. Can you see? Because when I do like this now, let me delete it. Because we are not able to see the bold. As you can see, this one is bold. This one is not bold. So the reason why I purposely said we are going to switch from using a lot of HTML code in our JavaScript tutorial is that, so that you will be able to have confidence in JavaScript in very good details. Let me remove all this again so you guys can see how our document is going to look neat now. Can you see? Our document is looking neat now. When we reload, then we are having it. Then we are good to go. We can do more. We can change this to var if we want. When we reload, can you see? It's working. And when we get to console, I will explain better about console also, because it's good in some ways. So I think I'm done for now. The next tutorial is also about the syntax, but it's not going to be about error much like this one. I purposely fixed all the errors so that all other things, so that you guys can be able to know what you may encounter whenever you're writing JavaScript, not to get tired of it. So you have to experiment because practice makes perfect. Anwar Akorede Ayofe is my name once again. I wish to see you guys next time to the next tutorial. Peace and love. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye bye and to the next.